back to another episode of UFC Double Knockout from the boys over here at Opinionated. I don't know if y'all saw our last one, but we ran through the 281 card because we're on 282 now. Yeah. If y'all want to go check that out, feel free to give it a view. I felt like it was pretty good. It was a good card too.
It was a really good card.
Go see. We usually predict the fights, so go see how we did. But shout out to our sponsor, Elite Sweets. You know, got to get your sweet tooth fix in like me. I got a bad sweet tooth. Hey, once I get something sweet in my mouth, pause. It's downhill from there. But yeah, shout out to Elite Sweets. Make sure to get your good healthy sweet donuts. So they're gonna be in your local 7-Eleven here soon. So be on the lookout for that. But, I mean, let's jump right into it.
Cool. Let's do it. And hopefully, you know, Modelo, if you want to throw us a few cases.
Oh, yes,
cool
sir.
Too.
You know what I'm saying?
Official beer of the UFC.
Big Brian Ortega fan over here. Big Brian Ortega fan.
So, just thought I'd throw that out there in case, you know, you never know who can see this.
Facts. But, yeah, we'll just recap 281.
Yeah, I mean, we went 4-1. 4-1, yeah. So, I think we called those fights pretty well.
I think the only one we lost was Izzy, I think. Because didn't we say Izzy was going to win, but we wanted him to lose?
I think we called Izzy. I really thought Alex was going to beat him. I wanted him to beat him because I think Izzy needed that. And now you could tell Izzy's very hungry again.
No, we picked Puelles. That's what it was because we picked him to beat Dan Hooker.
Oh, yeah, and he was just flopping on the ground the whole time like a little bitch. Yeah.
So we'll start with that.
Okay.
The Dan Hooker, Claudio Puelles fight.
He finished him by
TKO. TKO. Yeah, it was
leg kick?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what he gets for fucking laying on his back the whole match. He had more ground time than standing up.
He didn't look...
He was scared.
Yeah, he looked scared. He was scared. He didn't look like he wanted to be there because every time he had to go to the ground, or every time he started taking shots, he would go to the ground.
Yeah, and he was trying to go for a leg lock the whole time, and because he couldn't stand up with Dan Hooker. He was scared of getting hit with his fucking left hook.
For one, you got to realize what kind of a stage you're on, which is UFC. For two, you got to realize what card this is. People are gonna be tuned in because Izzy is fighting.
Facts.
And they're going to be tuned in because Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier are fighting.
Facts, which was a fucking great
So
fight.
you gotta realize the stage and setting that you're on. I guarantee you Dana did not like that.
Yeah, no. Well, and that's Claudio's first card. He's been on fight nights. He's been on.
Yeah, that was his first
main
major stage card.
So yeah, definitely the jitters and the nerves got to him. Dan Hooker's been there. I mean, he's fought title contender. He's fought title contenders.
Yeah. No, I was saying. Got the new Roadcaster and you put that SD card in there now. You ain't got to worry about that. Yes, sir. That's why we did that. Come on now.
So I mean, this is his first time being on a card. It's like anybody who's had Super Bowl experience and versus a team who's never had Super Bowl experience. You can tell. It's a different level. I mean, obviously we haven't competed at that level, but playoffs and high school football and things of that nature, playing high school sports or you understand the different levels once you get to that next level. And it's definitely intimidating if you've never been there.
Yep. But yeah, Dan Hooker won. Finally did some Dan Hooker things. But shouts out to him.
Facts.
But I called it. Next fight, Frankie Edgar and Chris Gutierrez.
I thought, I didn't think Frankie was going to go out like that. But I knew he wasn't going to win.
Thank you for everything you've done, Frankie. You've been in the sport for a long, long time. You had some amazing fights. Been watching it for a while now. So appreciate you for everything that you've done for the sport.
He's been fighting since before we started watching UFC. So, he's definitely respectable fighter and you've done a lot for the sport, so we appreciate everything you've done.
For real. It sucks for you to go out that way, but hey, it happens sometimes. Part of the sport, but thank you again. But he did get knocked out. It sucked, too, because it was in front of his kids, man.
I know, bro.
Hey, Daddy's last fight, we got to go watch it.
You just hate to see it that, too.
Daddy don't remember that fight. Yeah, it was in front of his kids, man. Yeah. And you could tell, Chris was,
He
happy,
felt bad,
yeah, but he like
but,
felt bad,
yeah.
because it's like, man, he wanted to cheer, but like I think somebody either just passed away or somebody was sick, and like so he was like kind of emotional about that too. I think somebody just passed away.
Chris's trainer has had
Yeah,
cancer.
yeah, had cancer. Then
And
he like
had just
flew
got
out.
out. Yeah, he just got out of
flew
treatment, flew out to see him fight.
That's what it
his
was.
coach.
Yeah,
And so like for him, it was bittersweet for him for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's just a fight game. It's a brutal sport.
and it is a brutal sport, but yeah, hey, Frankie got knocked out. I said he was gonna get knocked out, and that boy went night.
Look, I just didn't want him to go out like that, so I was thinking the best.
Yeah, it's good to be optimistic. But third fight, yeah, you got the fight of the night. We all knew what was coming. We all knew this was gonna be fight of the night. Once you saw this matchup made, you're like, hey, this is gonna be a war. We got Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Dustin got it done. I think I said he's gonna knock him out or submit him, and he submitted him. The fight was a great fight. I mean, they went at it. There's a little controversy in it.
Yeah, with the hands and the.
Well, so I didn't notice that until Dustin said something. Then you go and watch the replay. I was like, oh, you see it. But what I did see was, I don't know why the ref let him keep doing it, but I felt like he was punching him in the back of Michael Chandler was punching Dustin in the back of the head at one point, because it looked like just straight in the back of the head.
That's still such a like touchy, because like it's such like a.
I thought it was like right here.
I don't remember seeing it like that. I thought it was like it was close to me, like it was
because like Dustin brought it up again, like after the fight happened. He was like talking shit to the ref. He was like, "You just kept letting him do it." He was like, "No," and he was like, "Yeah, you did. Like I just kept getting punched in the back of the head."
Regardless, he got the dub.
For sure.
I can see where Dustin's frustration is, especially with the adrenaline still being so high right after fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can see why he was addressing that frustration. But at the same time, bro, like I don't think there's really a need to bring that up. As far as like, I think he's
more of calling him a dirty fighter because one, he put his hand, disgusting by the way.
Yeah.
But he put his hand, well, the first thing he did was I think he blew his bloody nose on him while he was on the floor. And then the second thing he did was he put his hand in his mouth to like get the guillotine.
Yeah.
Well, not the guillotine, the rear naked choke. And then the third thing he did was kept punching him in the back of the head. So I think Dustin was just like saying he's a dirty fighter. And he didn't really like that.
That's fair.
So I think that's why he was just like mad about it. He's like, dude, he did all this like in the fight, and then I don't know the way like the post-fight press conference, the way Michael went about it, I was like, because he was like, that's gravity. It goes down.
Yeah,
I
mean,
all right, dude.
I can see both sides for sure, because it's like he's trying to breathe, especially being on the ground and trying to like defense from a submission.
You don't have to blow. I've never seen that.
I mean, I don't know.
I've never seen that.
But when they went into his corner after the round, when that happened, his nose was just dripping like a faucet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
But there's been plenty of noses in the UFC has been dripping. I've never seen that.
I think Michael Chandler just needs.
So I was gonna ask, what do you think about Michael Chandler?
I like him. I mean, he's a scrappy dude.
Do you think he's a UFC fighter though, or do you think he's just like a Bellator fighter? Because that's where he came from. He's a champion over there, but like he came over here and.
I mean, bro, the UFC is another league. Like that's like comparing the XFL to the NFL.
I know, but that's why I'm asking. What do you think about Michael Chandler? Like, do you like?
I think if he can,
because he had like against the big names, he just hasn't. He
hasn't produced.
Yeah, he hasn't produced.
I think if he can work on his cardio, because you can tell he gets gassed so fast because he's so aggressive, and if he can get his tank to have a higher capacity in his tank, I think he could really finish fights. Cause I mean, you saw him rock Dustin.
Yeah,
like he
rocked Dustin, but his problem is he doesn't know how to strike. All of his strikes are just like wild strikes instead of being technical. Cause Dustin said if he would have just thrown like a straight left or a straight right, he would have put him out. But he was just everything was an overhand, like from the left, from the right. Everything was just kind of wild.
Just
nothing was like a sequence. So that like that, but that's like. I feel like he just because he's like he is a wrestler, but I think he just depends on his striking too much. and he depends on his power too much, and he doesn't necessarily strike technical.
I mean, but that really needs to fall on his coaches too. Like,
Yeah.
that's something they need to address. It's like, yo, this is what happened this fight. We need to work on this.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Dustin said, one straight left, like he would have been out. And so, like, as a head coach or as your boxing trainer, you need to be like, yo, this is what we need to work on, because you're clearly not following through, or you're clearly, there's something lacking to not get you to that next level where you want to be. And so I think that's really a whole team assessment versus just Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
And that maybe he may need a new coach. He may need a new boxing coach, you know? Maybe he's got a bunch, I don't know his camp, but he may have a bunch of yes men in there, you know?
Yeah, because he lost to Poirier, beat Tony Ferguson, but it was like, that was not a very good Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
He lost a Gaethje decision, and then he knocked down Charles, but he didn't go after Charles, and then Charles knocked him down, and Charles went after him, and that was it after that. But, like, he beat Dan Hooker, but like you were saying, Dan Hooker
hasn't produced since this. I mean, and even then, this last fight wasn't nothing like old Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
Like, he got him with leg kicks, and I mean, good for him, but that wasn't the Dan Hooker that we thought was going to be a belt contender early on.
Yeah, because his first fight in the UFC was Dan Hooker, and he won that fight, fought Charles, lost, fought the next, like, ranked fight, next contendee for champion was Gaethje, fought Gaethje, lost, fought a old Tony Ferguson, won, and then fought Dustin Poirier, who can get a title shot as well, lost.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin is nice. Dustin's a great fighter. So I think
I love Dustin. You know, you asked me what fighter would I want to meet the most? It's Dustin.
I like Dustin. I do. I think that's a good pick. That's a respectable pick.
I need to give me from some free hot sauce. Dustin, $12 bro, his hot sauce is $12.
Yeah.
6 ounces. I mean, I know it goes to like charity and whatnot, but like 6 ounces, $12?
That's
$2 an ounce? That's some expensive hot sauce.
That is super expensive. I would not pay that for hot sauce.
Dustin, I need some hot sauce, bro. I'm trying to try it. I don't know if I can pay. I mean, it's not that it's $12, but like $12 for like 6 ounce, like that's not a lot.
I might just have to bite the bullet. There's
I might
plenty
just
of
have
shit
to.
we've spent
There's definitely some dumb stuff I spent $12 on for sure.
But yeah, I think that those are my thoughts on Michael Chandler. I think he needs to have a team assessment and is like, who's really in his corner. And I mean, shit, if he needs a new boxing coach, get a new boxing coach. Like, I mean, this is kind of like transitioning to Conor, but Conor has nothing but yes man in his corner, because Conor has done so much for the sport that I think that's why he's not competing.
I wouldn't say that though.
I think so. I think that's why he's not competing at the level he used to. Because most people, you can't tell Conor anything because of how Conor is.
I think his camp's different, because even if you look at like the fight, like Conor has fought, like he doesn't do anything wrong necessarily. Like he just doesn't have the chin like that. And that's nothing against, like, you can't like really train that. If you don't have a chin, you don't have a chin.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, he you could tell that he I don't know how much anymore, but like even when he was like up and coming, like he worked his ass off. Like he implemented moves that like.
But yeah,
like
what I'm saying is
moves.
the shit that got you to that level, where he was at his peak, is not going to take you to the next level, especially as fast as the UFC is changing, especially as fast as fighters that are elite level are coming in like fucking.
But I think his problem was his weight is 145. I think Conor's weight is 145. 155 is just like you got some
nasty weight class.
You got some hitters in there.
Yeah.
And he'll dominate 145. He'll like contend in 155, but they're just stronger, and his chin just isn't like that. That's like my thing with Conor.
That's fair. I'll take it.
So,
but moving on to the next fight of UFC 281 to closing up on our recap after the fight after this.
Yes, sir.
We all knew Zhang Weili that was her belt the moment they announced that fight.
Oh, for sure.
Carla did not deserve.
She didn't. Well, she didn't even stand a chance during the fight. She really didn't. What I liked was Carla's known as a wrestler. Like that's what she is. She's
Yeah.
a wrestler. And Wei Lee said that she was gonna wrestle with her. Like she didn't care. Like, but she wanted to prove that she can wrestle.
Yeah.
And every takedown Carla threw, she stopped.
Yep.
Carla had no shot on standing up on the strike game. And then second round comes submission. Oh, yeah. She submitted her
at her own game.
At her own game. So she proved she could do it. I thought she was gonna get knocked out, but she surprised us and submitted her.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was gonna knock her out too, because Zhang Weili's striking is just, she outclasses everybody in her weight class.
She's a fan favorite. People love watching her fight,
bro. How could you?
And
not?
I don't even know like
how could you not like Zhang Weili?
I mean, just a random fighter from China, and it's like first UFC fight was kind of been in the UFC for a while, 2018. Since 2018. And then she fought Jessica, won. And then I think she really grew a fan favorite because of what she did to Joanna and that Megamind hit. I think that's like where her like stardom kind of blew up.
That's fair, because I mean that will go down as one of the best fights I've ever seen. Like that whole fight was just exciting the whole time.
What hurts for her is just those 2 losses to Rose. Not that Rose is a bad fighter, but it's like, or whether they're gonna fight again. Like she's already beat you twice.
It's just kind of that
submission and knockout.
That knockout was kind of like the Kamaru Usman and Leona Edwards incident. It just happened, you know. And it's not that Zhang Weili did anything wrong. She got caught at the wrong time, like, and that one time cost her the belt. So I mean. But yeah, no, I mean, and speaking of Zhang Weili, she expressed that she wants to fight Valentina Shevchenko.
Which I was surprised about, because not many people want to fight Valentina.
I mean,
she's a bad girl.
I think that would be a great fight. I think that's a fight that I've wanted to see that.
It's going to be fun.
It would definitely.
It's going to be a war. I know that.
So I think that would be, and they're both phenomenal strikers. They are precise strikers. So I think that would just be another all-out war. I think it has the potential to be just as good as the Joanna and Zhang Weili fight.
Probably better.
Oh, I mean, but if it goes the distance, if somebody
if it doesn't go the distance, like that fight is just gonna be nothing but like exchanges.
Yeah, well. So she expressed that. That'll be interesting to see what Dana does with that information on wanting to set that up. So
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So it'll definitely be interesting.
But,
and going on to the last fight of this card.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alex Poatan Pereira and Israel, the last stylebender, Adesanya. Personally, I'm happy he got TKO'd, because I think he needed that. I think
for sure.
I think his head was in the clouds. He thought he was that. I mean, he is that guy. Don't get me wrong. When it's all said and done, Israel Adesanya will be one of the greatest MMA fighters ever. And
do you think he's the greatest middleweight? Do you think he's better than Anderson Silva?
No.
No. So he will not be the greatest middleweight.
No.
So how do you say he's one of the? When you say one of the greatest, like, how many people in your like? Do you like cap of like greatest MMA fighters of all time?
As many people that have been through the UFC, as long as like.
I know, but I'm saying like, is there like a spot where like, oh, only like 10 people can be like one of the greatest of all time for you? Because like greatest of all time, that can be only a number, like a limited people.
There can only be a limited.
So if he's like not the best middleweight of all time, is he still considered like one of the best MMA fighters of all time?
He's right behind Anderson.
I don't know about right behind.
Anderson
had like 15 belt defense.
And how he did it too. Anderson just was.
It was something like that. He's like 13. It's like 13 or something like that. But he has like.
But Izzy was right there.
Izzy I don't think Izzy has had that many
Izzy was
title
right
defenses.
No.
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. Okay.
How many has Anderson Silva had?
Like 14, 15.
Let me see.
Anderson's up there, like double digits for sure. Anderson is,
so that's why I was just asking,
I don't know, man. I think Izzy So I was watching Daniel Cormier say this, and I think it was Daniel Cormier. But what Izzy did to that weight class,
He has 10.
Okay,
Which is like, it's right there, but it's not.
That's I mean,
because like four fights is a lot.
Daniel Cormier was saying I think it was him, but anyway, what Izzy did to the whole middleweight class and just outclassed everybody in his striking is what Alex Pereira did to Izzy that fight. And it wasn't that he outclassed him. Izzy needed to be perfect that whole fight. Alex didn't. Alex could afford to fuck up.
Sorry.
Izzy couldn't afford to fuck up.
Sorry to cut you off, but
you're good.
Anderson also had a 16-fight win streak.
That's what it was.
But yeah, that's what was like the thing is like going into it. Alex has nothing to lose.
Exactly.
And Izzy has everything to lose, and like Alex is like, I think he was the favorite to win the fight. I'm pretty sure.
Nah, I think Izzy was still.
Was it Izzy?
I think so.
I thought it was.
I don't know what the odds were on that one.
I thought it was Alex, but like you said, Izzy just had to be perfect.
Yeah, he really
That's
did.
just it.
And I mean, it's just one of the situations like Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards.
He
one of
clipped them and
those last round losses. I mean, it happens. It's a fight game.
It's so weird though because like Alex isn't a champion fighter. Like
No.
watching that fight, it was a kickboxing fight. That's what it was. It was a kickboxing fight, and like Alex isn't good at takedown. If somebody throws like some crazy combos, I don't think he'll be able to defend it.
I mean, bro, you throw Hazmat at him.
He's kind of slow.
He's slow. I mean, they just look so goofy trying to wrestle.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
But like you throw Hamzat at him, he's losing the belt.
Oh, for sure.
Hamzat's not gonna give him a chance to stand up.
For sure.
So that, like you said, he's not a champ. It's so weird position.
Because they're gonna fight again, but I think the sport needs Izzy to lose because it gives other people opportunities to be the champion and Izzy fight for the belt again and then like more UFC fights is the thing. I think the UFC needs Izzy to lose again because any other fighter in that division can beat him. Really.
Yeah.
They really can. And if they beat him, it just opens up another fight for that fight.
For sure.
And if they lose, then it like opens up for Izzy, and then another rematch with that. Like it just opens up more fights. So I feel like the UFC needs Izzy to lose the next. Well, if he wins the next fight, it's going for a third fight, unfortunately. But like even if he loses the next fight, it's not going on a third fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird position for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, a good card. I liked it.
That was a good card.
It was
That was the most exciting fight we've seen Izzy fight in a while.
for sure.
So it definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want people to think I don't like Izzy. I think he's a great fighter.
love Izzy.
I love him as a fighter. But where he was getting to, I was like, he needs to lose, and I want him to lose.
I mean, we expressed that. Like we love Izzy, and like Izzy's a phenomenal fighter. I would say this. He is, as far as like, as you said, like best MMA fighters like ever. I think he's gonna go down as one of the best MMA strikers ever.
Yeah,
that's what I think he'll go down as.
Yeah, that's true. Because he's not I mean, we saw his ground game. It
takes time. He'll get there.
He definitely needs the work
for sure.
So before we get into UFC 282 and go over that card, we're going to kind of get into some breaking news that has happened. Not really breaking because it's about last week.
Yeah,
just some recent current events in UFC going on. Conor McGregor's entering USADA's testing pool again. As far as
because after Michael lost that fight, like he's always wanted to fight Conor
for sure.
Which I don't know. I don't think it's a good fight for Conor, but I don't think it's a bad fight for Conor because I think he brings.
It could be exciting. I think they're both kind of. I mean,
because like
Conor's so
Dustin's
precise.
just such a technical fighter that he doesn't like bring any like sauce to it, but he's just like he has good striking and he's precision striking. Conor like brings sauce to it and has precision striking.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
For
so
sure.
I don't know if like Conor because he's like Michael showing he can't really get knocked out like that. Because he's taking shots from Dustin and Gaethje. And Gaethje is one of the Anyways, but yeah, he called him out after the fight. He was like, "Yeah, I want to fight McGregor, but he has to get it in testing."
Yeah.
I mean, and Dana White confirmed after that at the press conference that Conor was going to fight for sure next year.
That boy is beefy now, bro.
He might be on something.
He's definitely on something, bro. You don't go from 155 to like 190.
I mean, it was kind of beefy during the Nate Diaz fight.
Yes, but that is just way too much size. And how good he looks at that size, you know he's on the sauce.
He probably is.
You know he is.
He probably is.
Because he looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And like he just if I get in a bar fight with that Conor, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like no shot.
But yeah, he has to go through. You saw the testing. I guess it's like 6 months.
It's like a 6 month of testing before he can compete, because Henry Cejudo had to do that when he retired and came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that 6 month testing period or probation period, they set up a fight and he still had to go through testing. So it's like I said, it's that 6 month probation period.
So he said he's gonna start testing in, I guess, February. I don't know if that's like the earliest, or I don't know if that's just so he can like get stuff out of his system.
So he can get the stuff out of his system, dude. I'm telling you, he's sauced. He's on the juice. Dude. There's no way he's not on the sauce.
I don't know, but also him and Joe Rogan recently have gotten into it. Joe Rogan. I don't know what it was on. I can't remember. But he basically said that Conor, funny enough, I just watched this fight, rewatched the fight, but Conor was getting smashed against Khabib, and then he was like throwing illegal blows to Khabib, and then Conor, being Conor, just
hothead,
reacted to him and said he'll give him a good old proper 12 bottle in the socket. And
I don't know, bro. Joe Rogan might throw that fucking wheelhouse kick and
he might
knock Conor's freaking guts out.
They're going at it, so it'll be interesting. Like I don't think Joe Rogan responded, but it was just Conor being Conor. But also, hopefully it happens because he has to be healthy. But John Jones versus Francis Ngannou,
he has to not get in trouble.
John Jones
has to not get in trouble.
Francis has to be healthy, and John has to stay out of trouble.
So he needs to stay away from his wife and stay away from the cocaine. So that's really the alcohol. I swear, dude. Like, but John Jones, the only word John Jones is now is a keyboard warrior. I see him tweet on Twitter all the time, talking shit.
You can't say that though.
Why,
dude? You can't be like.
How long has he been talking about fighting in heavyweight?
Since like 2013.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he's had reason to stay in the division he stayed in,
dude.
Because he's been like.
I don't want to hear it.
If you follow his career,
nothing until John Jones is fighting in heavyweight.
Well, apparently he's fighting heavyweight no matter what. Because if he doesn't fight Francis, he's gonna fight Curtis Blades, which I think would be a crazy fight too.
I want to see him fight Cyril Gane. I think that fight would be amazing.
Probably.
Cyril Gane is. I mean, dude, the dude is
probably.
A freak. He's a freak.
People have a problem with him like going to like a title fight, like coming off, what is it, 2-3 years? But like you can't. I feel like you cannot not give him a title fight.
Yeah, I mean, John Jones is that guy. Like John Jones for sure is the greatest MMA fighter.
For sure.
On my list, he's the greatest.
For sure.
I don't care about like all the stuff outside of the octagon. Inside the octagon, he's the greatest
for sure
to ever touch that mat.
Because like he's really undefeated, because his one loss is to when he was fighting Matt Hamill, and he just gave him Herb Dean would have stopped the fight like probably like 10 more seconds if he would have just kept doing what he was doing, but he gave a 12-6 elbow and just kind of gashed his nose, and that was a DQ, and that was that. But that's his only loss. But I mean, this man, his whole career,
he's done so much for the sport.
Well, no, not even that, but this is like his whole fighting career has just been nothing but partying, even like week of and week before the fight week, and still whooping their asses.
Facts. I mean, he did that boy DC dirty.
Well, he was also partying. He was partying the week before and of the first Gustafsson fight.
I don't know. He just needs to. I just need to see this happen.
Oh, for sure.
I don't care. Like I said,
Francis wants it. He said that even if it's not for like a title, just beating the name John Jones would mean a lot for his legacy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of crazy. Man was homeless and 5 years ago, and now he's just.
But that's crazy too. Like Francis
shoveling
is so
sand
scary in the octagon. Everyone says he's a sweetheart. Everyone says he's the nicest dude ever. And but I mean, given like his history, like you said, he was homeless. People were trying to get him in like gangs because of his size and like trying to get him involved in the wrong crowd, and he still like persevered through that. And like where he's at now is like you have no choice but to respect Francis.
It'll be an interesting fight. I mean, I like Francis, but I'm pulling for John Jones. I mean, that's my guy. I think he can win. I mean, he hasn't failed to prove us wrong. No. Everything he's done, he's proved us right.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they say he struggles against tall fighters, but even then, he still won.
Yeah.
He still won.
We'll see what happens come March. That's when it is, right? March?
I don't know if it's scheduled, but I know it's in talks. I don't know if it's exactly. I don't remember if it's exactly scheduled or not, but I know it's in talks.
Okay.
But there is one fight that is scheduled in February, and that's your boy,
the GOAT. Okay. John Jones. Volk is top 5. Volk is top 5.
Okay.
Volk is top 5 for sure in my book.
Okay. What if he loses this fight?
I mean, he's not in his weight class. So, I mean, and if he...
How do you feel... we keep going off topic, but how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that ruins legacies if you go up in weight and lose?
No.
So, like, it won't ruin John's legacy if he goes up and loses?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, John, like I said, look at everything John's done before this. One loss and in a weight class that he didn't compete at before. Like, John Jones is still that guy if he loses to Francis.
Yeah.
Francis is just the king of heavyweights.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
anyways, Volk, Islam.
I think people were not giving Volk enough credit on
It's the day before the Super Bowl. February 11th. Super Bowl is February 12th.
Wow. It's a good weekend.
Yeah.
Great weekend. Everyone's like, Islam is going to just overpower Volk. And they're forgetting the fact that Volk was a rugby player at 195. When you edit this, can you put a picture up? I don't know if you put a picture up last time.
Yeah. Well, I put a picture up of me and the only picture I put up was me and TJ.
Put a picture up of Volk, and this dude is just straight beefy. Like, and to play rugby at
But how do you think that like correlates to the UFC though? Because when you get beefy like that, you get slower.
But you also build a different
because they're saying like John Jones is getting so beefy that he doesn't have the speed that he had anywhere close to light heavyweight.
I think Volk moving up is better than the John Jones situation. Reason being is because Volk has been that big before. Volk has played a sport that's pretty fast paced before at that size. At 15 pounds heavier than what he's gonna fight at?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Volk has been that size, has competed at that size in a different sport, granted, but you just build a different type of muscle. So his muscle memory is there. And when he's in the octagon and that muscle memory starts kicking in, like he's not just gonna get thrown around like some ragdoll by Islam. Not like he's not. It's not gonna happen. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not discrediting Islam because he said he was gonna submit Charles and he did. And
you can't discredit him at this point.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I believe it's gonna be a great fight, but I think people were just counting Volk out like he has been the longest time. Everyone always counts Volk out. So,
yeah, it's a lightweight fight.
Yeah, coming from featherweight.
So I don't know.
I think realistically,
when you say you're gonna submit the greatest submitter in your division and you submit the greatest submitter in your division, like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of respect, but. But Charles is not Volk. Like, as far as in his class, like, look at what Volk has done to every single fight. Volk has gotten better. Every single fight that he's fought, every title defense, he's gotten better and better.
But that division isn't like the lightweight division, though.
The lightweight division is crazy. I don't know. I think Volk can be the one to get it done. against Islam.
We'll
I think
see.
it'll be a double champ.
It'll be a great fight. It'll be a great
It
fight.
definitely would be a great fight.
If he won, that would definitely like stir the pot in the lightweight division, just because of like the roster.
Yeah,
is
the
just
roster
sad.
would just be thrown
It'll be interesting.
But wrapping up on the last current event that we've had going into the UFC 282 card, Yuri, how do you pronounce the last
I
name?
don't know how to pronounce it. Hey,
Bro,
UFC, y'all are getting too many people. Well, I love it, but y'all are getting too many people from other countries. I can't even pronounce their names anymore.
Yuri Prochazka.
It used to be simple, and now it's just like,
Yeah.
what? On that one card, the last
The
UFC
prelims?
fight, bro, it was like they had like a fighter from like each fighter was like from a different country.
Yeah.
And then the total fight card had like 7 Russians. It was crazy.
But Yuri Prochazka and Glover Teixeira were going to be the main event of UFC 282.
Part 2. If you want to watch part 1, go back and watch part 1.
Fight.
That fight was crazy. I didn't know who was winning. I legit did not know who was winning.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
It came out. It was the 5th round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just going back. They were just exchanging, just punch for punch, punch for punch.
Going at it.
And Glover was a champion at the time, so Yuri was a contender. And
but Yuri got injured recently.
Yuri ended up beating Glover TKO. But that fight was insane because at any given moment you thought the fighter was going to get knocked out.
He submitted him.
Oh, did he submit him?
It was some rear naked choke
In the 5th?
in the 5th.
But it started with like a knockdown, right?
At 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
That fight was crazy.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
But yeah, go back and watch that fight. And then this was supposed to be the main event for this fight, but Yuri had a bad shoulder injury, and apparently it was one of the worst. It was according to Dana. I feel like Dana like kind of
well, the
makes it bigger than what it seems.
I don't know. The doctors told Yuri that if he fought and injured it seriously during this next fight with Glover, he could potentially mess up his shoulder for the rest of his life. Like terribly mess up his shoulder the rest of his life. That's what Dana said the trainers said. And so with that information, Yuri was going to need surgery, and he was going to be out about a year to a year and 2 months. I think that's what they said.
Yep.
But he voluntarily vacated the title to not hold up the division, which mad respect to him. Like the fact that he could have held on to the title, they could have had an interim, and the fact that he was like, no, like I don't want to hold up the division. Like you have to respect Yuri for that.
Yeah.
Like for real, that's just like an honorable fighter. Like so, I think. And then they even offered the 2 guys that are fighting for the light heavyweight strap to Glover, but Glover's being an older fighter, he was like, I need more time to prepare.
But it also makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've spent what, 6 months or 5
training
months
training for one guy,
and
because the first fight they offered was it would have been he's southpaw, and Glover's like that's completely different. Like I can't train for that like that fast for a southpaw fighter.
In less than a month or right about a month.
Yeah.
And then they offered Magomed to him, and he was like, he wanted to fight, but he wanted to be pushed in January. Glover had originally pushed for another 5 months. UFC said, no, we can't do that. Then he was like, okay, cool. Can you do January? UFC said, no. Nope. If you don't take it, we're going to move on. And that's what they did. Which kind of makes me sad because Glover's another one of those guys who's been in the game forever. Just nothing but respect for him, and has done a lot for the sport as well.
He's old.
And I mean, it just kind of sucks that it didn't really. I can see where the UFC's coming from. Like they do need to push this card because they were fighting for the light heavyweight title to begin with for the main fight. But it just makes me sad because Glover. I mean, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Glover as far as like as a fighter and as a person.
No. So. But we'll get into that the now main event was the co-main event, but now main event fight here shortly. What's the time at, sir? Perfect. So now UFC 282, it's here. You want to give the date and time?
Yeah, December 10th. I always get thrown off because they do They do what? They do freaking Vegas time, and I'm used to Central time, so I don't know how to convert it.
They're, I believe Vegas is
an hour behind.
That's the Vegas boy. They're an hour behind, right? 2 hours. 2 hours behind.
So Central time, it'll be 9 o'clock.
It's always we're Central time, so we're always 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Central time 9 o'clock. Vegas
7 o'clock.
West Coast time 7 o'clock, dude.
December 10th.
I'm pushing for universal time. Okay, there's too many time zones. All this shit. The freaking when they fought in Saudi Arabia, I fucking missed that fight. I'm pissed. I'm still salty about that.
UFC 282, December 10th, Las Vegas. 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. West Coast. But no, opening up, great fight. Great fight.
Thug Nasty.
Yeah, you got your boy Thug Nasty. You're a big Thug Nasty fan.
Bro, country boy Bryce Mitchell is nice, man. 15-0 in the UFC.
No, he's 15-0.
Or 15-0 as a professional. I'm sorry.
He's like 5 or 6-0 in the UFC.
In the UFC.
But like all of his wins have come from finishes. And then his last, well, I can't say all that because 16 out of his 17 wins have come from a finish. His last fight was a decision.
Nah, that's a Stracus.
Oh yeah, it is Drake. You're right. That is right. I mean,
the South African boy,
yeah,
which I'm a fan of too.
Okay, but you see how crazy UFC is getting, man. They just have people just
finishing people left
and right, and just undefeated because both of them are undefeated. I'm pretty sure, or something like that.
So Bryce Mitchell is one of two people who submitted somebody by a twister, and if you don't know what that is, we need to put something up on the screen as well because. If you didn't have back problems before, your back is fucked up for the rest of your life. After being submitted by that, like, that twister is just brutal. And he's one of two people in UFC history to finish somebody that way, which is insane. Ultimate Fighter winner.
Yeah.
Dude is a farm boy from Arkansas, wrestling cows. Now, he ain't like those Dagestan boys wrestling bears, but
them Dagestan's built different.
But he's got that natural strength, that country strength.
He is a skinny boy, but
got some power.
He got some power. He's a fast fighter. He can change levels. Good hands. I mean, he's versatile. He's submitted people. He's knocked people out. Like whatever he needs to do to win the fight, he's gonna do it.
As good
he's showing he could take a punch too.
As good as his stand-up is, his ground game is just another level. I mean, dude is a scrappy guy. Like, excuse me, he's not the most technical. He's pretty technical. I mean, he's not sloppy, but he's just scrappy. Like, he'll hop over you, whatever he needs to do to submit you, to knock you. Like, dude is just, he's a fighter for sure. He just loves fighting. And, I mean, his opponent, Ilya Topuria, right? Topuria? How do you pronounce it?
I told you, bro. UFC just having all these people.
Ilya Topuria is Spanish fighter.
Yeah, he's from Spain.
Yeah.
The Spain boy.
And I mean,
he's undefeated as well.
Don't get me wrong. Like, no discredit to Ilya, but his stand-up is not as fast-paced.
He's not as like he's a better technical striker, but I don't think he's as strong. Like, he doesn't have that one-shot hit to like put you out.
He'll stun you for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, to put you out, nah. I don't think he's got the power to do that. And not only that, is like he's better standing up. And he's not as good changing levels as Bryce Mitchell is, because that boy just does it all.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be a good fight. I think this one will give the. I'm gonna say my fight of the night, but I think this one will be up there for fight of the night. But I don't think it will win fight of the night.
Against this card, it's kind of tough to say. I mean, there's a few good fights.
There's a few good fights. I think Bryce is going to be the winner by decision, though. I think this one's going to go to the judges. But him winning this fight, I would really like to see him fight Calvin Kattar. I think that would be a great fight. Yeah. Yeah. And that would be like whoever wins that fight, I feel like should get like a title shot. For this division, so
for sure, I got Bryce Mitchell winning by submission. After seeing Ilya's, especially when Ilya has the advantage being on top, being on mount, and being on top on the guard, he's not as aggressive as Bryce Mitchell. He's kind of, you can tell he's thinking too much on what to do on the ground, even though he's good on the ground, he's still kind of it seems like he's questioning his ground game. So I got to give the ground game to Bryce Mitchell. I think it's definitely going to go to the ground early. I think he's going to submit him.
Yeah. So what round? Do you have a round?
I don't have a round. I think it'll be definitely. I say 2. You know,
2.
What? We'll say second round.
Second round. But that's the opening fight. Be a good one. I think it's 2 fighters that not many people know about, but 2 fighters that
they deserve to be on a pay-per-view card
for sure. They're ranked. I think Bryce is ranked 9 and Topuria is ranked 13. So that's what I said. If I think Bryce is gonna win, I think he should fight Calvin Kattar next
for sure.
We're going to the second one. Now the guy that I was actually talking about, his name is live.
Drake is Duplessis.
That
South
name is
African
live.
boy.
That name is live. But he is fighting Darren Till. Darren Till is finally coming back to the octagon. He ain't fought in about a year and a half or so. I think like a year and like 2 months.
But out of his last 5 fights, he's only won 1.
This is true.
So
this is true. But out of his last 5 fights, he's fought some big names.
Definitely fought.
But at the same time, it shows he can't beat those big names.
That's true. And Drake is Duplessis. This is his 6th fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
And out of his 17 wins in his professional
4th fight,
career,
he's 3-0.
He's 3-0. Okay. So, out of like you were saying earlier, out of his 17 wins as a professional fighter, 16 of those are by finishes, and the only one that was by decision was his last fight, which was on the Israel Adesanya and Jared Cannonier fight. That card.
He ends his fights early too.
Oh, dude is power.
It's like the first or second round, and that's how long it lasts.
He's just well rounded. I mean, he's rear naked chokes. I mean, like when we were looking at his record, like rear naked choke, rear naked choke, rear naked choke, knockout, TKO, knockout, TKO. I mean, dude is nasty, and he's kind of like Alex Pereira. I'd say like as far as being a bigger middleweight.
Yeah,
like dude is just big.
Yeah.
So I got Drakus winning this. I don't know. I think he's just gonna knock him out or something. I don't think it's gonna go the distance.
I have him winning submission, but with him winning this, he's ranked 13th. He can shoot up because Darren Till's ranked 9th, so another 9 and 13 fight. Do you think this, like, where would you put him in the middleweight class? Because
his 3rd fight in the UFC, or excuse me, 4th fight being this one. If he beats Darren Till, I say put him at 9.
9, but what kind of fight do you think he'll fight next? Because he keeps winning. So I feel like you kind of have to like give him not a title shot, but like something above, probably like a top 5 fight. So I can feel him like a Paulo Costa maybe. Have him fight like Paulo Costa, Sean Strickland too.
I think that Paulo Costa fight would be nice. I think that would be an exciting fight.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're both just naturally bigger dudes. I think that would be a very exciting fight. And then whoever would win that one probably fight Jared Cannonier and then work their way up to the belt. That's how I would see it go. Between the winner of Izzy and Pereira, I think that would be... no, because then you got... Well, Robert Whittaker's fucking... Didn't he fail his last drug test?
He's injury prone as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel
like him and Paulo Costa would be a good fight. But that's another dope boy too.
Yeah, that's true. Damn.
What's going on, UFC?
Pass your drug tests.
Yeah. It'll be nice to like see Darren Till back in the octagon because it sucks. Cause like Darren Till is not what we thought he was gonna be.
Yeah.
But if he does win this fight, which I don't think he will.
I don't think so.
But if he does win this fight, does it get him back on track to like what he was supposed to be? Or is this just their loss in a row and just kind of like just a middle of the pack guy now at this point?
I think he's a middle of the pack guy. I don't think he'll be where we thought he was going to be. I think he can maybe break into the top 5.
It'll be interesting to see if he has ring rust as well. Because, like I said, he hasn't fought in over a year.
But, I mean, it really just depends on the fighter for ring rust. I mean,
yeah, because I mean, there's George St. Pierre didn't fight for 2 years, came for a title fight, won. John Jones gets suspended every other fight as a year layoff and comes back and wins. So
and like, fights like he never left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm with you on that because some people like believe in ring rust, but I feel like it just kind of depends on the fighter.
It really does. I mean, yeah, I think if Drakus wins, I think that puts him at 9, and then he should fight Paulo Costa. I think that would be a great fight.
I think Drake is going to win. Darren Till is not the best on the ground. He's definitely in his element when he's standing up. That's where Darren Till is the best. But against Drakus can strike too.
I mean, and it just takes one punch to knock your ass out.
Yeah.
Like he's got that power.
Yeah. But since Drakus has that submission, I'm going Drakus submission just because Darren, like I said, Darren's in his element when he's standing up. I don't think Drake is going to let this, even though he can, just get the job done, just get the dub, get out of there, submission.
Cool.
So that's
fair.
Yeah.
Cool. So we got Bryce Mitchell winning his fight. But I got submission.
I got the distance.
You got the distance.
I got the fight going to the distance.
I got Drakus winning. I don't know whether he's gonna knock him out or submit him. I really don't know.
I think it's gonna be submission.
Okay, but we got Bryce Mitchell and Drakus winning.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the third fight of the night: Robbie Lawless Lawler,
Ruthless Lawler.
That's right.
That wasn't OG, Triple OG. Another one been in the octagon for a minute.
He has.
He's been in the octagon for
since 2004.
I think it was a little after that, like 08 or something. But hey, that man's old. That man's getting up there. He might be on his, last of his fights.
No, bro. He fought UFC 50 at 2000. Oh, hold up. Since 2002.
He's been in the UFC since 2002?
That's...
Well, because I know he was, like, in the UFC, left the UFC, in the UFC.
Yeah, for sure. Because he went to, what, Strike?
Yeah, he was in Strike Force.
Hold up. Robbie Ruthless Lawler. He fought at UFC 37.
Who did he fight?
Aaron Riley. I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, I wasn't watching UFC just yet.
May 9th, 2002 at UFC 37.
Yeah, I was not watching UFC just yet.
Damn.
Because, yeah, he left. Like, he was in the UFC, then he left because I couldn't remember. But
dude has for real been fighting almost as long as we've been alive.
Yeah, he's 40.
I mean, hey, you love what you do.
For sure. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of two old heads going at it because his opponents, another last name I cannot pronounce.
Ponzinibbio?
Something, bro. Like, what? They need to put, those, like, how they put the pronunciations on, like, other websites or, like, Wikipedia has, like, how to pronounce it. UFC need to start doing that. But no, he's fighting Santiago, the Argentina dagger. But they've both been in the UFC for a long ass time.
I mean, Santiago's definitely not as long.
Not many people are as long as Robbie Lawler. Right. But in 2000, that's still a long ass time. It's almost 10 years. It's almost 10 years. But like I said, Robbie Lawler, OG, Triple OG, boy's been in the game, been around. He's 40 years old. I don't know how much longer he has in the tank.
Not long.
I don't. This isn't his last fight. His last fight's coming up. I know that, but he can also still hang. He did his last fight. He did lose. Well, his last two fights he did lose, but his last fight against Mike Pereira, I think it's who he's fought, or Michelle.
And his last fight was Brian Barbarian.
That's right. They
it was by TKO.
Yeah. But if you watch the fight, like he was able to like go toe to toe. It was the second round, I believe. He was able to go toe to toe, and I mean he didn't get knocked down, but he got hit, and then it was just punches after punches after punches, just kind of stopped it. But he never got knocked down.
The Neil Magny fight. That one I think that was the one where he was all bloody too.
Oh, yes, that was.
Because
that was one of his last two losses.
Yeah, he was taking some punches for sure, that one.
Yep.
And I mean, for being 40 years old and still being that durable, I mean, you look at like the Nate Diaz fight. Nate Diaz is old, but he's just not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Robbie is still in it. Like, he's got that dog in him for sure.
Yeah.
So
but both of them, they're both actually on I believe they're both like on a 2-fight losing streak. But this fight, I could see being knockout of the night because both fighters have the power to knock people out. I just don't think. I mean, Robbie's and Father Time catches up with everybody. He saw Frankie. Frankie was 40 years old. What happened to him? We're gonna put night.
Oh, shit. In front of his kids.
In front of his kid. That's
the first time they ever saw Daddy fight.
God,
it's not a good way to remember that.
God. But no, I think Santiago snaps his little 2-fight lose streak right here. Gets back in it. I mean, he's been around and he's had a good little run. He was on a 7-fight win streak at one point. He just doesn't not anymore. He doesn't really fight like that because he didn't fight in 2019. He didn't fight in 2020. Fought in 2018. Didn't fight. I think he fought once in 2018. He didn't fight in 2019. Didn't fight in 2020. And he's back again in 2021. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting.
So how do you think Santiago's gonna win?
I think he's gonna knock out second round. Just knock him out. Just put him to sleep. Put him out of his misery. Maybe his retirement fight. We don't know yet.
Just to disagree with you, I'm gonna go Robbie Lawler decision.
I mean, I'm a Robbie Lawler fan.
I'm gonna go Robbie Lawler decision.
There was at one point where everybody in the UFC was scared of that man because he just had that knockout power just to put you to sleep.
Robbie Lawler
and then
decision.
Sorry ass Tyron Woodley put him to sleep, and now just everybody was scared of Tyron Woodley, and then he
went to go box.
One boy, never mind. But
I got Robbie Lawler decision.
You think so?
I think so.
They're two people who throw too many haymakers, so just be a decision.
Okay, look at Glover.
Was it a decision?
I mean, he got
was
submitted,
it a decision?
But that's also 5 rounds.
Was it a decision?
This is 3 rounds.
Was it a decision?
No, but this is 3 rounds. I think I'm gonna go Robbie decision.
I think Glover is like 40 or 41.
Yeah, he's old.
He's old too.
He's
got that gray hair right here.
He's old as fuck, but him too. He's got that dog in him, dude.
It's gonna be a dog fight.
I got Robbie decision, and I don't want to agree with you. That's why I'm saying it.
So you agree with me? You just want to be different, and
No, I actually wholeheartedly believe that it can go the distance, and
I think they just throw too many haymakers for it to just because Robbie likes to fight. Like he's gonna go in there and he's gonna fight. So it'll be a good one. I think it's gonna be a knockout of the night. I think it's gonna go to Santiago.
All right.
The next fight, you got another one of your boys,
Paddy, the Baddy Pimlet. Okay, look, I don't care if you don't know about Paddy.
That boy's
it's so impossible not to like him. Like he just seems like one of the nicest people ever. I don't know if you've seen recently
it's his fourth fight in the UFC, by the way.
Yeah, in his UFC debut, he knocked out his opponent, or TKO'd his opponent, and then his next 2 fights submitted him.
Yeah. He's definitely like a kid in the candy shop when he's inside the octagon.
He's definitely a scrappy fighter. He's not very technical. He's just throwing hands and kind of.
He's a warrior. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
He's being in the division he's in, the lightweight division. He definitely has some work on his defensive side.
Oh, 100%.
Because he does leave his chin exposed a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
his hands stay down, and then when he throws, his chin is up. And against the Michael Chandlers, the Dustin Poiriers, the Islams, the Charles, you can't do that.
I mean, not only that, bro.
You just can't do that.
You got freaking, like you said, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Fucking Matwez Gamrot.
Yeah.
He definitely get knocked out by him if he keeps that up. I mean, shit, even Dan Hooker may have that power to knock him out.
That's your boy.
But, he definitely... I mean, he's a young dude. Paddy's like...
He's like 27. He is a young dude. He's like 27. He can definitely make a name for himself and definitely, boost his career with this win. I
mean, but as far as the longevity of his career, I don't know how long it'll be because he does such extreme weight cuts. He just loves food so much that he'll get to like
That boy be getting
200
big.
pounds.
That boy be getting big.
And then he'll cut to 155 in 5 months. Like, as far as, don't get me wrong, like, he still gets the job done, but how long is your career going to last if you keep doing that? I don't know, because as you get older, the weight cuts aren't going to get as easy. They're going to get harder and harder. And so for somebody to be doing that is like, will he have a long career?
Yeah.
You know, we just don't know. Like, and so I think that plays an important factor.
It would have been interesting to see. I mean, it's part of the game, so we'll never know. But it would have been interesting to see what happened in that first fight for went the distance, because he was losing that fight. And then he just caught homeboy and clipped him, and then just TKO.
Yeah.
Second fight, I thought he was losing too, but he pulled guard a lot, so I felt like he wanted to take it to the ground. And I think it was first round rear naked choke.
Yeah.
And then the third fight, which was the most recent, which was on the what card was that?
I was fighting.
That was a
He's
fight
never
night?
been on a card.
He's never been. This is his
never
first
been on
card.
pay-per-view.
His third fight again, rear naked choke, second round, something like that. Yeah, I know he won like both of them rear naked chokes, but can't remember
think
what.
so.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It was against Jordan. Live it or leave it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
lay of it, whatever.
Yeah.
I think
But he just his problem is he just leaves his chin just there, and like you can't. The UFC is getting to the point where you really can't do that.
you have to,
Because everybody nowadays, like everybody pretty much has power to put people asleep.
Yeah, I mean, you just, not only are people getting freakishly strong in all weight classes now, but it's gonna end up, because everyone is so freakishly strong now, that you do have to be technical.
Yep.
And the guys who aren't technical are for sure gonna not last. They're gonna be weeded out, because strength only gets you so far. And when you're in a class of dudes that are just as strong, if not stronger, twice as strong, like, this really comes down to technicality of a fighter. So I agree with you. But I think,
Well, he's fighting Jared Flash Gordon.
right.
He's been around a while too. Another UFC, just I don't know how to describe him. Not like a journeyman, but like a journeyman. He's been in the UFC for a while. Middle of the road fighter. He just hasn't really. He's like win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, win, lose, lose.
I mean, 2017 was his UFC debut.
Yeah, I mean it's a while,
So
almost
it's a
7
bit.
years. Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
A lot of his fights, his problem is a lot of his fights just go to the decision. So it just shows me like he just doesn't have that it factor in
He
him.
doesn't know how to finish a
He
fight.
can't finish a fight.
For sure.
And his some of his losses have been knockout and some of them been submission. So it shows that he's like,
And Paddy can do both.
yeah, and Paddy can do both. So it shows like those are both like kind of not exposed, but
Those are his flaws.
Yeah, those are his flaws
For sure.
So it's hard to say because it is his fourth fight, but I feel like this isn't a fight that like boosts his career just
No.
because Flash is just such a middle of the road fighter, just like a fight you just kind of just throw in there.
I mean, but
it's
we
like
said that about Sean O'Malley. And then once we put him up there.
But Flash has been around to like prove that. Sean O'Malley's like brand new.
No, what I'm saying, like what you're saying about like this doesn't boost Paddy's career.
Oh no, but Sean has gone to the fights to like boost his career. Sean has gone against like top 10 contenders to boost his career. Then he went against the number 1 contender to boost his career. The reason Flash is on the card is because of the numbers that Paddy brings in.
I mean, that is true.
But like you can't give Paddy this top level fight
Nah,
yet
for
because
sure.
like he just hasn't really
He hasn't proved himself.
proven anything. But Paddy sells fights because of the way he is. He's a fan favorite. How can you not put him on a card?
Yeah.
Because people are gonna know. People will probably know Paddy before they know even the main event, or even the main event when it was the main event.
Yeah.
Like the Glover fight.
Yeah. I
People
mean,
will probably know Paddy before them.
for sure. I can totally see. I agree with that. But so if Paddy wins, do you think he deserves a top 15 fight?
Top 15 fight for sure.
So who do you think he fights? If he wins. I wouldn't give him Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's not really. I mean, he's old.
I mean, I would give him Tony Ferguson just because, like, that's. I mean, I don't know because Tony Ferguson, McGregor, because
could you
Dan
imagine,
Hooker.
Could you imagine how big McGregor is and how big Paddy is getting if them two fought?
It's very possible. It's very possible.
I would like that. I think it would be a great fight because I think that'd be better than honestly, I think that'd be better than Conor and Michael Chandler. Because I
don't know. That would probably sell more tickets. Because I don't think Paddy would be able to like go toe to toe with Conor as in like talking shit, and I think Michael Chandler can.
That's fair.
That's like gonna sell more tickets than like the Conor,
fair.
just from that alone.
That's fair.
Because like Paddy's not like a
he's not.
He's not like a talking shit type of guy. He's just a kid in a candy shop. For real.
I give Paddy 13. Renato Moicano. I think that'd be a good fight because they're not talking.
I said Dan Hooker would be a good fight too. Jalen Turner would be a good fight too. I don't know.
I don't think Paddy, if he wins this fight, I don't think he should break into top 10. I think give him 13. As much as I like Paddy, give him 13. That's a decent enough
But
test.
if he wins that fight, then you're going to give him a top 5 fight. That's just how it is. Unless he fights like Gamrot, which could technically be a top 5 fight because Gamrot is just. I think Gamrot is better than RDA.
Yeah. I think so. I think, give him 13, which is Renato Moicano. And then.
No, I'm saying if he wins that fight, then that's what I said. Yeah, then it's going to be like like 8 to 5, probably somewhere between there. But I actually have Paddy winning this fight by knockout.
Really?
Yeah.
I got Paddy winning by submission.
He has some sharp elbows. Like if they get in the clinch, he has some sharp elbows.
Elbows are nasty.
And they're quick. They pierce. They can do some damage. So I don't know if it's gonna be knockout or TKO, but I think Flash is gonna get dropped.
So here's my thing. The last fan favorite star person we had was Molly McCann. Molly Meatball McCann.
They're from the same place.
And they're from the same place.
They train together.
Yep. And she got embarrassed by Lauren Blanchfield. Like, it was just
that fight
brutal.
was not.
So I think
he's got to make it up.
He's got to make it up for sure. I think that's super important. I think.
And then what do you say he's from? What do they call them over there in Liverpool? They call themselves something. It was like, he says, these punches aren't gonna knock me out. I'm whatever ever. I can't remember what they call themselves. Like, this is nothing for us.
I don't know what he said.
I can't. These scouts, something with an S. I don't remember what they like call themselves though. But it's like means you're like a descendant from like Liverpool though.
Yeah, but I think Paddy wins this by submission. I think he's gonna take it to the ground. I think he's gonna submit Jared Gordon. Because I mean, if we're talking about like where he's got a better chance, I think Paddy's got a better chance on the ground. His stand-up game is pretty sloppy. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, he's got the nasty elbows. He's got some
It's only
power.
sloppy in a sense of his defense, but like his striking isn't that bad.
It's okay, but in terms of technicality, he's better technically on the ground.
For sure.
So his submissions are better as far as like his actual like just the technical the fundamentals. His fundamentals are better on the ground. So I think he takes it to the ground, submits him.
For sure.
That's just my pick.
So what was that?
That was co-main.
That's co-main event. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people would like how Paddy walks out, and if Paddy wins his antics, he's just a kid, bro.
Hey, dude,
he just loves
Paddy,
to live.
It's really hard not to like him, bro. Like,
he just loves to live. I don't know. They say he looks like.
You said you wanted to meet Dustin Poirier. I want to meet Paddy. Paddy's that fucking guy, man. He's
Paddy just.
He's that guy. He's.
Oh man!
I better not get any Paddy slander. I'll come for you.
That when they try to him and McMahon went to the Padres game. They like fat shamed him. They say a little like Meg Griffin and Chris Griffin. Anyways, now to the co-main event. I'm telling you, people are gonna tune in and not know who these people are, but they're gonna know Paddy. And Paddy's only been in the UFC for 3 fights, going into the 4. Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about. Like, never mind. It's off topic. Never mind. But last but not least,
John Błachowicz,
that Polish power, baby. The Polish power. He's going against Magomed.
Another Dagestani boy.
Hey, Anka something, bro. I don't know how to pronounce their names, man. But Ankalaev, that's what it's something like that.
Ankalaev.
I think this fight's gonna be a war. I think this is gonna be fight of the night. This was the fight that I was gonna say was gonna be fight of the night.
I think this is gonna be fight of the night.
This is why
I think Dagestan's gonna have another champion.
Bro,
I'm gonna say that right away. I think Dagestan.
Yeah.
Look, I had my ifs.
There's
on
something
Islam.
out there. There's something over there in Dagestan.
They're wrestling bears.
Bro, it's something. They're just built different. They really
are.
He's 9-1 in the UFC. I think he lost his first fight, something like that, and then just won since. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. He lost his first fight and then just won since. And he's 9-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, he's cold. I mean,
yeah, he has knockout power. Obviously, clearly, most of his fights ended knockout. I think 5 out of the 9 are knockouts. So it's like half of his fights are knockouts.
6 out of the 9 are finishes. His UFC debut. No, he lost his UFC debut.
Yeah, and then he's won since.
Okay,
so he was winning that fight. Homeboy was on his back. Who did he fight? Paul Craig?
Yeah.
He was on his back. And he was throwing down punches. And then Paul Craig just like caught the arm and put him in a triangle and he tapped. That's how he lost the fight. But he was winning the fight. That like Paul Craig just submitted him like that.
Yeah.
But he's like won since.
Yeah, he's out of his 5 finishes. KO round 1, KO round 3.
Yeah, it's like 5 out of his 9 fights have been knockouts.
KO round 1. Decision. That's 21, both decision. And then decision against Thiago Santos, round 2 KO. Yeah,
that boy just be putting people to sleep.
But I can't discredit John.
No.
Not at all.
Maybe.
Why?
Because he lost to Glover. Well, he got the way it's been, he's like he beat Corey Anderson. He knocked him out in the first round.
Yep.
And then he fought Dominic Reyes, who we thought was going to be like the next guy, because John Jones beat him. Then John Jones
took his whole confidence with him.
Facts.
They ain't been the same since, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, ever since that John Jones fight, the man just ain't been the same.
Ain't been the same, dude.
Ain't been the same. But he fought Dominic Reyes, TKO'd him, and then he got the belt. And then he fought Izzy. That's when Izzy moved up in weight. And then that fight was just kind of boring, but like he wanted like unanimous decision. That was like his first title defense. And then he fought Glover and got fucked up. And then Glover submitted him in the second round, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. And then his last fight, he beat Alexander. But in my opinion, he was kind of losing the fight. This happened in the second or third round. But Alexander, he like stepped and you can just see his knee like just move and he couldn't like put weight on it. So he just fell backwards and like they called the fight. So he like won. I think it was a doctor stoppage. So like Alexander didn't have the L, like the Connor thing. Alexander didn't have the L, but he had the W, and it was a TKO. But like he didn't do anything, and like he just stepped, and his knee just like moved, and like he just tore his knee up, and then that's how he won that fight. But I feel like he was losing like that first round. It would have been a good 5-round fight because that fight was scheduled for 5 rounds. So I don't know. Like he got the Polish power because he could put people to sleep
for sure.
But like I said, them Dagestan boys are just built different.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, Magomed got that power too. Like,
I mean, yeah, you can't.
I think it's gonna be a great
Even though he
fight.
lost, he was winning that fight. It's just, he's dominated everybody's fought. And that's the thing. He's dominated everybody's fought.
Yeah, I think Dagestan crowns another champion. Hey, just like the Nigerians were running the show, the Dagestani boys is gonna be running the show.
It was
soon.
Brazilians, and it was
Brazilians for the longest time.
Yeah, then it was kind of everybody, and then it was Nigerians, and now it's like
now it's
Russians
really
and Dagestanian people. Well, Peter Yan isn't from Dagestan, but he's from. I think he's from St. Petersburg.
Okay,
but he's still from Russia though. Yeah. But I got Magomed winning knockout second round. This fight's gonna end in a knockout. So this fight could
that's early. Second round.
It could possibly be fight and knockout of the night, but I think the Robbie Lawler
knockout
of the night. But this would be my fight of the night. Paddy might get submission of the night if you think he's gonna get
I think he'll sub him.
Or your other boy could get submission of the night.
Bryce.
Yeah,
Thug,
Bryce.
Nasty Mitchell. That boy is
Bryce
cold.
Thug.
I'm a Bryce fan for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. The dude is he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's fun to listen to.
Yeah. Oh, country boy. What do they call him? UFC's redneck?
UFC's redneck. At least that's what I saw outside on a video before. But yeah, no. Malcolm, I mean, that boy, there's something in that water. I got to move there. I'm going to train my kid over there.
Shit.
He's going to get trained by Hezbollah.
No doubt. This conversation's over.
Podcast is done. Thanks for watching. But yeah, second round knockout. What do you think?
I don't think he'll knock him clean out. I think it'll be a TKO. I don't know what round, but I think Magomed's going to TKO him for sure. Like I think ref will stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
I don't think he'll knock him clean out.
Again, another fight. There's just too much power in.
Yeah, I don't think he'll knock him clean out. Like I said, I think the ref will stop it. It'll be a TKO. That's my guess.
Is it bad for me to say I feel like this is a better title fight than the Jan and Glover fight?
Nah, I mean
Yuri Glover fight. Because this fight's gonna be just as exciting. It might not go as long, but it's gonna be just as exciting.
I mean they're gonna be throwing haymakers for sure. These two powerful.
But like
dudes.
nobody knows these fighters. Like unless you're like a hardcore UFC watcher, even then, like
for
a hardcore UFC watcher, you only know Yuri and
it's just
Glover.
It's just so hard. Like there's so many fighters. There's so many. You got UFC Fight Nights. You got Dana White's Contender Series. You have people moving up.
The Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter. You have people moving in and out of the ranks. It's a lot to keep up with. Like
doesn't ESPN have it's like ESPN? It's just called ESPN like number whatever.
See, I don't even know about that one.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
what I'm saying.
But it's UFC.
There's just so many people moving through the ranks so fast, too. I mean, you have a top 10 guy drop out of the top 15 in one fight, and it's just like, well, when the hell did this guy fight?
Yeah.
So it's a lot to keep up with. I mean, we're doing our best to keep up with it so that way we can give you all the information as accurate as possible because we just love the sport of fighting. That's just our passion. Like I said in the first episode, this is the only sport I really, truly keep up with just because I feel like it's a lot to keep up with, but it's a lot easier to keep
nowadays,
up with.
it's for sure a lot to keep up with. There's so many fighters on the roster.
So
there's so many fighters on the roster.
At the end of the day, we just want to help other people.
Because there's it's a lot because even this weekend, there's a fight night. It's
Thai, right?
No, it's not Thai. It's
Thai fights in December, I think. Thai Tuivasa, right?
It's
But yeah, we just want to help people get into the sport. That's it. It's fun.
Kevin Holland and Stephen Thompson.
Oh damn! It's a good fight night.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Holland's gonna win, but yeah, I mean that's what it is, and that's this weekend. And then the weekend after that's 282.
Yeah, I mean some of these fight night cards you could really put as a pay-per-view, like.
Yeah, RDA fights on this card too.
Yep.
So if he loses, it's like I said, Paddy can fight him. Maybe, I don't know. Tua does fight on this fight night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah.
Them Australians and New Zealand boys.
Yeah, he fights Sergey, another Russian. I don't know if he's from Dagestan. I know he's from Russia. I don't know if he's from Dagestan.
See, it's so hard for Ty. Like, as sad as it, I don't think he'll ever win a belt.
No.
But he's like he'll probably be one of the best heavyweights to never win a belt. He moves so good.
Maybe.
He moves good. He's exciting to watch. He's charismatic. Like, I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like him.
I think people like Australians because they do the shoey.
Okay, look, Ty's the only one that really does the shoey.
No, because Volk does it too.
That's right, he does do it.
At least they did it together.
But at least Ty, like, as entertaining as he is.
nasty too. That boy spit in his shoe, then drink that shit.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of gross. Nasty.
But like, as a fighter, forget all that. As a fighter, like, Ty is fun to watch.
I'm just telling you why people like him. It's because Australians, because they do the shoey.
Well, like, I like him because he's a good fighter.
But I'm telling you why people like
that Cyril Gane fight and with him.
But the thing is, it's like people are gonna know him before Cyril Gane, and people are gonna know him before Francis.
That's true.
But it's because he does the shoey.
That's fair.
Francis isn't a household name.
You said what?
Francis isn't a household name.
No, unfortunately.
He's not. But he is becoming a household name because his name is tied to John Jones. And that's why he wants the John Jones fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean those are all of our picks. We'll see how we do this week.
Do you know what we are total? Like,
went 4-1, and then the first one went 3-5. So
I think I went 2 for 5.
I went 3 for 5.
So
because I lost to Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley, but I won everything else. And because you picked Charles.
That's right.
So I'm 7-6, almost 500. I need to step it up.
Wait, but who won? Did Manon Fierro win?
Yes.
Okay, I was like,
she won the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, you went 3 and.
No,
you went 3 for 5.
Went 2 for 5 because I thought Wait, did Dariush win?
Yes.
I can't remember if I picked. I can't remember if I picked Gamer or Dariush. I think I picked Gamer.
I think you picked Dariush. We both picked Dariush.
Okay, I thought I picked Gamer, but
you might have. All I know is I got 3.
I can't remember if I'm
because I lost to Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan one. But I'm like, 7-6.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, guys. Anyway, that'll wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching, as always. We always appreciate the support. If you want to drop a comment on y'all's picks for this, we'd appreciate that as well. And let us know who your favorite fighters are, because we just want to know or let us know fighters we're sleeping on. Fighters that don't get the recognition that they deserve. Let us,
Francis.
Sure. But let us know in the comments some underrated fighters, and
also let us know if you're new, because I felt like there's a lot of new viewers in the UFC in general.
Yeah.
So tell us what you like about the UFC. What brought you in? What was it? Was it Conor? Was it just it's kind of being publicized everywhere now? What was it? Because there's a lot of good, young, exciting fighters, and they've drawn a lot of eyes to the UFC. Paddy, Conor, Sean, Colby's older, but him and like Jorge that drew out there's a lot of stuff that there's like fighters that are drawing eyes. So it's let us know what brought you over.
Sure.
But like I said, comment, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know your picks, your fighters, who your favorite fighter is. I don't know if we said ours. Have we said ours?
I mean, we kind of say here and there, like, as far as favorite, like,
I don't know if I even have a favorite anymore.
As far as favorite, just as a person, Paddy is mine, bro. Paddy is fucking.
But like Dustin isn't my favorite fighter.
That's fair. As far as a fighter,
I don't know.
goes,
it's hard. There's a lot. There's too many good fighters now.
I think. Yeah,
Matt Hamill. Matt Hamill. Just because he was, deaf and he couldn't. I mean, he was still fighting.
That man was.
Yeah. Built
What they
different.
call him, the Hammer? Matt the Hammer Hamill?
Yep.
This dude was nasty.
Yep. Just because he was definitely still fighting.
Oh, dude, he was cold.
Imagine trying to train him.
Bro,
It was gold. But that'll do it for another episode of Double Knockout. I'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.